Ethan Miller had always believed that the strangest things happened in the most ordinary places, but nothing in his 22 years prepared him for what occurred inside a quiet public library in Springfield, Illinois, on a rainy Tuesday afternoon. He was only there to finish a college assignment, Comparative Ethics in World Religions. It was boring, complicated, and he wasn't exactly a straight-A student. Ethan was flipping through books with sleepy eyes when he heard a soft voice behind him. "You're looking at the wrong section," the voice said. Ethan turned. A girl his age stood by the end of the aisle. Dark hair, hazel eyes, pale coat, and a strangely old-fashioned satchel. She spoke as if she knew him, though he'd never seen her before. "What?" Ethan asked awkwardly. "You're studying ethical philosophies, not rituals," she explained. "Try shelf B14, Golden Principles in Sermonic Literature." Her tone was precise, confident, almost teacher-like. Okay, thanks," Ethan replied, though he wondered how she knew what he was working on. He switched to the suggested shelf and found a thick, dusty book titled 1,000 Sermons for a Changing World. Inside its cover, compiled in 1821 by Thomas Edgewater. Handwritten underneath, "Do not read aloud." That warning felt like a joke, like something kids scribbled in library books. The girl reappeared. "You should read it," she said, nodding toward the warning. "It's extraordinary." "You read it before?" he asked. "Yes," she answered quietly. "It changed everything." Before he could ask what she meant, she walked away again, leaving an odd tension in the air. Ethan shrugged and sat at a table, flipping through the passages. Each sermon seemed strangely modern, talking about technology, social anxiety, political polarization, environmental disasters. Yet this book was supposedly written 2 centuries earlier. How could someone in 1821 write about internet bullying? Ethan muttered. "Because truth repeats itself," the voice came back. He jumped. The same girl stood opposite him, as if she never actually left. This time she looked more serious. "What's your name?" he finally asked. "Mara. Yours?" "Ethan." Mara didn't offer a last name. She sat down, uninvited, lowering her satchel like something heavy was inside. Her eyes glimmered with curiosity. "Read one aloud." He frowned at the warning again, but decided to humor her. He cleared his throat and read, "Where voices drown in noise, silence becomes rebellion. One who listens saves more than one who shouts." The library lights flickered. Wind roared outside. Ethan dropped the book, startled. Mara didn't flinch. "Words hold power," she whispered, "especially when spoken." "How did you know that would happen?" Ethan demanded. "Because I've been here before." He stared at her, feeling something uneasy building inside him. Mara slowly opened her satchel. Instead of notebooks, it held dozens of folded letters, some yellowed, some crisp white, some scribbled on ripped paper. "These are from people who also discovered the sermons. Writers, activists, inventors, even a few who lost their minds because they couldn't handle what they learned." He laughed nervously, but it didn't come out funny. "You're messing with me, right? This is some kind of prank." "Does it look like a prank?" She tapped the satchel again. Dozens of people, guided by the same book, from different decades. Same curiosity, same result. "Where are they now?" Ethan asked. Mara didn't answer immediately. Her silence felt heavier than the bag. Finally, she said, "Most of them became forgotten thinkers, decades ahead of their time. They wrote ideas the world wasn't ready to hear. Society dismissed them as fanatics or lunatics. So they failed? Ethan asked, confused. No, she smiled faintly. They whispered into the future, and the future eventually listened. Her words felt like riddles tied in knots. Why are you telling me this? I'm just trying to finish a paper. That's how it always starts. Nobody chooses inspiration. Inspiration chooses. Before he could argue, a librarian passed by and glared. Quiet, please. When he looked back at Mara, she was holding one of the letters out to him. They'll need this soon. Ethan hesitated, but took it. It was dated 1898. That didn't make sense. Are you saying someone from 1898 wrote to you? To us, Mara corrected. Anyone the book finds worthy. What did it find in me? He demanded. A listener, she answered simply. Rain hit the windows harder, lightning flashed, and for a second the room felt centuries old, like time folded in layers. Mara stood up, gripping her satchel. Don't read too many aloud, she warned. Only one a day. Knowledge is fire. A spark is useful. A wildfire destroys. She walked toward the exit. Ethan jumped up. Wait, will I see you again? Yes, she said without turning, when you're ready for sermon number 2. The automatic doors opened and she disappeared into the storm. Ethan sat alone, clutching the letter, the cursed book, and a sense that life had just cracked open like a thundercloud. He packed his backpack, but before leaving, he glanced at the book's final page. At the bottom, handwritten in the same ink as the warning, someone long ago had scribbled, "The 1,000 sermons belong not to the past, but to those who dared to listen before the world is ready to hear." Outside, thunder echoed, and Ethan realized that for the first time in his life, he could actually feel a story forming, one that wasn't just for a school paper.